Hello and welcome to the Healthy for Men podcast, the official podcast of Holland & Barrett's Healthy for Men magazine. I'm Tom Rowley, host and editor of Healthy for Men, and this is a very special episode as it's the first episode recorded from the comfort of my kitchen. And in this special isolation episode, we speak with author, chef and wellness expert Gaz Oakley. Gaz shares with us some great tips about cooking and staying healthy during the pandemic. For workouts to try at home and immunity-boosting content, subscribe to Healthy for Men magazine at healthyformen.com. Hope you enjoyed this episode and stay safe. So welcome to the Healthy for Men podcast. We're recording in self-isolation from the comfort of our own homes today. And today we're joined by author, chef and nutritional guru, Gaz Oakley. Gaz, how are you doing?
Hello. Yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We've had you on before as part of our vegan podumentary, all about veganism and plant-based nutrition, which was fantastic. So it's a pleasure to have you on again. So just tell us how's life been for you over the last couple of weeks?
Oh, it's been a very strange period, I must say. A lot of exciting plans cancelled, unfortunately. But I'm now using this time as time to really focus on myself, focus on things that I've been putting off for so long. Some really boring stuff, so you probably won't want to know about that. But generally, this last week has been actually really, really beneficial for me, I feel, on so many levels. So I'm trying to use this to my advantage and just trying to be as positive and spread positivity as much as I possibly can.
Excellent. That's interesting. So you're just trying to get all the positivity out of this as you possibly can. So I suppose a lot of people, the main issue for them is how it's affecting their mental health. They're not able to connect with people in the same way they were before. They can't go out as much. We're restricted to sort of an hour exercise a day, going out for a walk. How has that been for you?
The first, because I've been self-isolating now for about 20 days. And the reason being, I was on a flight back from LA about 21 days ago. And there was a suspected case of the virus on the flight. So I was just told to self-isolate for 2 weeks. So I just did. And I haven't left yet. So since that, obviously the government's put us on lockdown, which I totally agree with. I think that really we should be a complete lockdown. I don't think we should even be able to leave the house to go for one form of exercise a day. I think we should actually just be in, because this is crazy times, but obviously I'm no expert. Anyway, the first 2 weeks were actually really tough on my mental health, actually, because I was also jet lagged as well. And it was just a weird time because obviously, it's kind of concerning when you hear there was a case on the plane. So there was a lot to take, and generally jet lag is actually quite a hard thing to get over. So it was tough at first, but as I said, the last week has been actually really, really great and enjoyable. Actually, I'm starting to enjoy my own company. I have started talking to my plants a lot more though, which is a bit weird.
Well, when they're all the company you have, you got to make the most of it. That's really great to hear. So are you Skyping with people regularly, phoning people regularly, keeping in contact with your family members?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's difficult living alone. But now the good thing is obviously social media, technology we have these days, and talking to my family a lot. And there's that new app, House Party, which is annoying but good at the same time. So you can chat to anyone you want. Really, it's great.
It's dominated my phone completely. Every notification I get now is House Party.
Yeah.
So
funny.
Obviously you're a chef as well, which is quite it's quite a theatrical thing being a chef, isn't it? So that element of your life is now sort of been taken away. Are you missing it?
Actually, I've done more cooking than in this last week and a half in this quarantine period, I would say, than I have in the last few months, because the last few months have just been crazy busy, traveling around here, there and everywhere, doing events. It's been, so all I've done really is cook constantly, and I've been loving it. And actually, with social media, I'm able to share my meals, share inspiration, share positivity through my food. So actually, I think I've been having a good effect on people, because it can get boring. These times are quite boring for a lot of people. So actually, getting in the kitchen is one of the most beneficial things that anyone can do. I find it so, it's a form of meditation for me, actually. So it's very therapeutic, and also going through your kitchen cupboards and for me anyway, I collect ingredients wherever I go. So if I haven't used an ingredient before, I'll get it and I'll put it in my cupboard. And I've had the chance now and this opportunity to use all those strange and wonderful ingredients that I never thought I'd get around to actually using. So I've created some actually beautiful dishes. So it's actually really fun.
Excellent. So I suppose you've kind of been forced into using ingredients that you wouldn't use before. Have you struggled to get other ingredients that you've wanted to use, or
well, that's
how
it.
you get in
I
your
think
food?
Being a chef, I am lucky that I can really use my imagination when it comes to putting a dish together. And I always have a good stockpile of dried ingredients. I always put stuff in the freezer as well. So I always put a bag of spinach in there, or fresh fruit that I freeze. So I've had a good stockpile, but I have been running very low on sort of like fresh veg, which I love to eat. I love to eat fresh steamed greens all the time. So I've had to sort of sacrifice that up until yesterday, when I braved going to the shops, because I was actually sort of concerned to even go out to the shops, really, especially after seeing the long queues as well. That God, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I just went down to my local supermarket, and the one by me, I don't know why, but there was no one queuing outside, and it was really quiet, and I was able to get a load of fresh ingredients. So I'm all stocked up now, but prior to that, I was using lots of canned and dried beans and pulses, using up pasta, rice, quinoa. So it's been actually really, really, as I say, it's been beneficial. I think that everyone needs to think about this time as an opportunity to really focus on themselves, learn something new. I've just ordered a set of DJ decks because I've always wanted to learn. So now I'm going to finally get the opportunity to become a world famous DJ.
Excellent. I mean, that's a really good way of seeing this situation. Just, allowing us the time to reassess, our values, our interests, giving us a new space to focus our energy. And it's allowed you, as you say, to refocus your energy back to the basics as to, what your career is all about, which is cooking, and cooking that good food. So what kind of advice would you have to people who are concerned, especially vegans as well, who perhaps might be struggling to get what they want and what they need during this time?
As I said before, hopefully vegans have a good stockpile of dried like chickpeas, dried lentils, or even canned mixed pulses, canned chickpeas, black beans. I'm pretty sure most vegans have that kind of stuff in their cupboard. So make use of them as best as you can. And then obviously, again, dried fruits and nuts I've been eating a lot of, and making use of the freezer as well. And if you can get to the supermarkets, rather than buying sort of like leafy greens or perishable vegetables, I would choose to try and get root vegetables that tend to last, weeks in the fridge. So potatoes, sweet potatoes, swede, parsnips, squashes, pumpkins, these types of vegetables, beetroots, they last ages in the fridge. So that's what I stocked up on yesterday, and I could be making stews and soups forever if I need to be. And then and frozen veg too. So like I said, the greens that I did manage to get yesterday, half of them have gone in the freezer. So every now and then I can just grab a handful of frozen spinach, throw it into a curry, or saute it. So it's about being wise. I think lots of people, I was thinking to myself when I was driving past the supermarkets and seeing these queues outside, I was thinking, what are these people actually going to buy? Are they just going to go in there and buy a frozen pizza and a ready meal? So I was thinking, I'd hope not, because these types of people are taking a big space in the queue there, and they're only going to get food that's going to last them sort of one meal. If you're going to buy a frozen pizza, that's gone in one evening. So I hope people are really thinking about this and thinking, right, what can I buy that's going to last a long time? Or what can I buy that's going to give me the most yield in terms of servings? So, like a couple of cans of beans and pulses can make a big curry that will serve 4 to 5, and some of it can go in the freezer. I'm sounding a bit boring, but I've been nagging my parents about this for ages, because they're also vegan. And I was saying, like, Mum, Dad, don't worry about you don't need to get fresh tomatoes today. All right. Just use the tinned ones, or just think about it like that. Try and get the longest lasting stuff for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully people will carry on that attitude, after the next 6 months or however long we're going to be in this situation for. Do you think it's a good time for people to think about going vegan?
Well, I did notice that because yesterday when I went to the supermarkets, the sort of dried lentils, the chickpeas and beans and all that stuff were all gone. So I think that people are more switching onto the idea of a plant-based diet, because they know that those types of ingredients will last longer than buying some chicken breast, for example. So I think that this is going to make people think more about it.
Yeah, and it promotes a cleaner environment as well, doesn't it? Having less raw, or no raw meat in the kitchen.
Yeah, and everyone's thinking, right, how can I make my immune system as powerful and strong as possible? So it's actually, I'm really enjoying the effect that this has had on people, and I've seen it on social media, because I'm seeing people making smoothies, I'm seeing people make juices, trying a nice, really hearty, healthy stew. Like I think this is, as much as this virus is doing a lot of damage, and my heart goes out to people that this is affected, and I feel lucky right now that my family hasn't been affected at the moment. Hope everything stays like that, but I think there is positivity that is going to come from this in terms of people's attitude to food and health. And I try my best to always keep positive and look for the positive, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I think that's exactly right, is that it will, even as terrible as it is for a lot of people, it will have a positive effect, I think, on the way we're eating and looking after ourselves and each other as well.
Exactly.
I've personally have seen a lot of compassion between people during the last sort of few weeks.
Honestly, the group chat that I'm in with my old schoolmates is never been so on fire. I'm having such a good time laughing at all these funny videos that have been sent over. But no, that's a funny one there. But in general, I feel like I've been talking to people that I haven't talked to in years, and it's nice to reconnect with people. And everyone seems to be, obviously, most people are at home with a bit of time on their hands. And again, this is the opportunity to reach out to those people that you haven't spoke to in a long time. It's great.
Absolutely. So how are you keeping fit in your sort of confined space at the moment?
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I'm desperately missing, is going to my little gym, the world famous Squats gym in South London. It's an very old school bodybuilders gym. Not that I'm a bodybuilder, but just it's got that iron, the real metal dumbbells. Everything's rustic and old fashioned, and you feel like you've had a workout every time you've been. It doesn't. It's not. There's no what do you call it? There's no electronic machines. It's all
rusty
real.
steel.
So that's it. So it's lovely. I love the smell of it. It's great. So I miss the gym so much. But exercise is as important as sleeping and eating for me. So I try and exercise every day as best as I can. I have popped to the park every now and then. And to do some runs. I try and do the bleep test every now and then. So that's how I keep track of my cardio fitness. And at home, I should have invested in some weights ages ago, but so I don't really have any. But I've been doing body weight exercises. I've got a beam in my house that I can do pull-ups on, and in my kitchen the surfaces are just so far apart where I can actually do some dips. So I've been keeping fit as much as I can, but I do miss the gym an awful lot, I must say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything you described there is all that you need to have a perfect total body workout, isn't it? You got your chest, you got your legs, you got your back. Yeah. You just got to get a little bit creative in that sort of short space.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's another thing I've seen lots of people promoting. Home workouts, giving people tips and ideas. So another thing that people are really, people are thinking about their health, which is great. And what I will say as well is that during these times of being in quarantine, I think it's even more important to just find that motivation to do any form of exercise, even if it's 20 minutes of shadow boxing in your living room. That's something that I've been doing, You get a sweat on, put some good music on, because the feeling that you feel after it is great. You feel so much better.
So have you been using an online trainer to do some boxing, or?
I actually haven't. I've been training. I've been into sport all my life. So growing up, I played rugby, football, swimming, boxing, badminton, cross country. I did everything, and sport has always been my biggest passion up until cooking took over, when I realized I couldn't play professional rugby. So without exercise in my life, I think I'd just be a totally different person. So having done so much exercise, I know what I need to do. It's just actually finding the motivation to do it. So I just love it. I love fitness so much. So it's got to be done.
Fantastic. So, you've been going to the gym and you're a relatively super fit person. Do you find that you miss anything from your diet? Do you have to supplement anything at all?
During quarantine?
Either or.
I actually don't take any supplements other than the B12 is something that, I say vegans, but everyone should be thinking about B12. So I supplement with B12. I occasionally have the odd protein shake, but I try and make sure that my meals are just packed with everything I need. Try and get the nutrients from food rather than anywhere else. I have been looking into some superfoods in terms of supplements. So recently I looked into various different mushrooms like chaga mushroom, I think cordyceps, I think they're called, another one. And then I've been looking at ashwagandha. I've been taking some sea moss recently, which is a seaweed, and I blitz that into a gel and throw that into my smoothies from time to time. As I said, I try and get most of my nutrients from the food itself, but from time to time I'll explore these various. It's like a witch's recipe, really, all these different things. But I think I think it's something that I will look into in the future. But right now, I feel great. Yeah, I really do.
Excellent. So yeah, just getting everything you can from your meals, I suppose, is the best philosophy you can have.
I find using in my new book, I think I talk about this quite often actually, and it's the plate method, and it's something that I tend to do with all my meals, unless I'm cooking for something fancy. But in terms of the plate method, it's making sure a quarter of your plate is a great plant-based protein, something like tempeh, tofu, lentils, beans, pulses, all of that stuff. And then the next quarter is a good quality carbohydrate. And then the half then is filled with either fruits and or vegetables. So half your plate is filled with a good variety of fruits and vegetables. And that's how I know that I'm hitting all the nutrients I need.
Fantastic. So what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I actually just, do you know what? Breakfast is turning into sort of like between 11 and 1 p.m. It seems during this quarantine period. Oh God, it's terrible. But I'm trying to give my audience on social media as much positivity as I can. So I've been doing some recipe videos on my sort of Instagram story. And today I showed my audience how to make some beautiful buckwheat crepes. And so I made some crepes, and I got a mango yesterday and some blueberries, and I sauteed the blueberries and the mango with some coconut sugar, and
they were beautiful.
Delicious. So I just had that for breakfast. I'd say breakfast. It was actually 1:30 p.m. So it was the first thing I ate.
That's the nation's breakfast is 1:30 now. That's just how it is. It's fine.
It's what it seems. But if anyone wants to see that and the recipe, I'll put it on my highlights on my Instagram. So
fantastic. Please
people
do.
Can always go.
Excellent. So you're still doing your videos daily at the moment, are you, for your YouTube?
No, I've actually never done daily videos. That would just be too tough. But I try and post a video a week. And I was actually due to film a big season of new recipe videos featuring special guests and doing various different challenges. But unfortunately, because of the virus, I haven't been able to get my crew together. So I actually have been filming videos myself on my camera and then passing the footage over to my editor to edit. And the first one of those comes out tonight on my YouTube channel, and it was quite entertaining filming it myself. I haven't done that since the early days of my YouTube channel, but during these times I've got to try and be as resourceful as possible, and I've got a nice camera, so I might as well do it. So I'm going to still try my best to keep giving my audience a new video each week, especially because I'm about to hit 1 million subscribers, and I want to make sure that they're all entertained, and I just want to keep spreading that positivity. So
absolutely,
a video a week.
Fantastic. So you've got your new book coming out at the end of April 30th, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What can we expect?
Of course, yeah. So it's my third book. It's called Plants Only Kitchen. This book, as I was saying to you off the podcast, I'm so proud of this one. I feel that obviously having done 2 books already, I was able to really know the ins and outs of the whole process of making the book. Obviously, I write the recipes myself, and I do all the food styling and the cooking for the photographer. So, but everything else as well that I've done as well for this book in terms of working with the designers, making sure this picture's on that page and the graphics are beautiful and the fonts are really nice. So I've really taken a huge interest into the whole of this book. So I'm really proud of it. I think it's going to really help way more people than my last 2 books. These recipes in this new one are so simple. Anyone can make them. There's over 70 recipes in there. With a bit of an emphasis on making sure that these recipes are protein packed as well. So that, if you are working out or going to the gym, you're not going to worry about where you're getting your protein from. So, and
the food in all of your books prior to this one, it just look fantastic. There just doesn't seem to be any compromise in anything. If you're someone who isn't a vegan or you don't generally eat plant-based food, you might expect to be a bit of a compromise in how food is presented, or it doesn't look as succulent if you're used to eating meat-based. But I think it's the kind of food that will sway people to at least try going plant-based a few times a week, because it just looks so delicious.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I never thought I'd be vegan. I went vegan 5 years ago, and I'm still in the mindset of, I like the taste of meat. I like the texture of it. So I don't want to miss anything when I'm vegan. So I'm actually making my recipes for non-vegans with that same mindset. So you won't miss anything when you taste my food or you make one of my recipes, because I've thought of it with that old mindset of being a non-vegan. So what texture do I need? I want a bit of a bite, I want a bit of a crunch, or I want a bit of a succulentness. So maybe that's marinating something or cooking it in a particular way to get that meatiness, and then the flavors as well. Season at every stage, making sure you're adding some umami flavors. This is going to help give you those tastes and textures that and you love, especially if you're a non-vegan. So
fantastic.
Yeah, I think there's something for everyone in there, and as I said, you're not going to miss anything with these recipes.
Looking forward to it. So what's your favorite recipe from your new book?
Favorite recipe? God, there's so many, but probably my favorite one is actually in the salad section, believe it or not. So this hopefully will explain how good the book is, if this recipe is just in the salad section. So it's my seared watermelon tuna. So I basically I marinate and slow roast watermelon.
Wow.
And it actually gives it the texture of tuna.
Fantastic. I mean, that sounds
like a tuna fillet.
I can't imagine it, but I suppose
it's crazy.
I suppose watermelon looks quite tuna-y, like a seared sort of sushi tuna.
Yeah, that's it. So I serve it with some noodles, and the noodles are dressed with the marinade from the tuna. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Simple
to make. You will blow anyone away with that, and it's just so interesting. You'll wonder why you eat tuna when you have this. It's that similar.
I can't wait for it. Well, Gaz, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
No worries, thank you.
It's been great. I hope that you continue with your positivity during this crazy time that we're all going through. Yeah. But it sounds like you've nailed it, really. You're using that time to really promote your own health and do things that you love doing, and just make the most of it, of unprecedented times. So, and thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge about veganism and nutrition with us as well.
Thank you.
And we look forward to your book.
Yes, can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. Speak to you again, Gaz.
Cheers. Bye-bye now.